I lost the intro for Timothy Reviews Shorts. So back in 2022, I made a video talking about how I, at the time, watched every episode of South Park. At the end of that video, I teased that I was willing to give the show Aqua Teen Hunger Force the same treatment. Nearly 2 years later, I realized that I don't want to do that. So instead of scrapping the video entirely, I decided to list my favorite episodes of the show. Just like South Park, I watched one episode of Aqua Teen because I didn't know his name, and after that, I was like, might as well binge every episode. With that out of the way, this is my top 13 favorite episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Why top 13? Because I wrote too many episodes on my list, my bad. Before we get started, I wanted to get some honorable mentions first. First, I have Dirtfoot. Meatwad making fun of Master Shake for being gay and not even knowing what the word means is funny to me.
Hell no, we ain't living with no gay person. Is it Jay? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Next is Boost Mobile. It's Shake with a Boost Mobile sponsorship. That's essentially what it is. Next up is Chick Magnet.
Meatwad, why the f are we in a fabric store?
These episodes aren't in order, by the way. Rap About Redux, Last Dance for Nakum Lad, Super Trivia because of Seth MacFarlane, I spelled his last name incorrectly, Chicken and Beans, Rocket Horse and Jet Chicken, and Buki. I don't know if I said that right. These are all great episodes in my opinion, just not top 13 material. Speaking of which, it's time we start with our number 13 pick, which is... First up, I have Edork. Shake spends a ton of money on something that he thinks is going to be a future of technology. Of course, nothing works as it should, so we spend the rest of the episode watching Shake struggle. Meatwad and Carl are the highlight of this episode, not gonna lie. Meatwad constantly missing with Shake was funny to watch. And this line that Carl says makes me laugh at how dumb it is.
Please, did you get the link I sent you about the woman having sex with a bee? Will you shut up?
Overall, it's an insanely silly episode that I can throw on every now and again. Next is the South Park's Paradise Diet. Meatwad notices that he's putting on weight, so Carl recommends that Meatwad eats these protein bars called South Park's Paradise. Frylock doesn't think that Meatwad should take the easy way out, so Frylock and Carl make a bet to see who loses weight the fastest. Seeing Frylock try to force Meatwad to lose weight is just funny to watch, man. And the ending of this episode is a crazy moment. This is such a great episode. I love going back to this one for a quick laugh.
Well, it ain't working. Now, if you expect me to eat this, you're gonna have to supply me with some wing sauce.
Stop, bitch. Number 11 is That's such a stupid title. Frylock is ultimately fed up with Shake's shenanigans, so he finally moves out. I love how Frylock's decision has downsides for both him and Shake. Shake and Meatwad destroy their house and send Carl to the hospital, and Frylock is just bored by himself.
Hey.
Hey, yourself.
Welcome to the Rock.
Also like the ending of this episode, where you think the episode will end one way, just for the opposite to happen. This episode is another fun one. Next is the supposed final episode of the show titled, The Last One Forever and Ever, for real this time. This episode is so unserious, but I love it, not gonna lie. Frylock reveals to Shake that the gem on his back is slowly going out, and soon, Frylock will die. Frylock discovers that there's another gem just like his, but he keeps failing the simulation he made. That is until Meatwad gives it a try and succeeds. So now it's up to Meatwad to save Frylock. Spoiler alert, Meatwad fails and Frylock dies. You can tell this wasn't supposed to be taken seriously, and that's why I like it so much. There's a lot of great moments in this episode, and Meatwad having kids is probably the weirdest shit ever. Overall, a pretty funny episode. Next for number 9 is Hands on the Hamburger. Shake sees that there's a contest going on, where whoever keeps their hands on the hamburger for the longest gets to keep the whole thing. I like seeing Shake purposely try to get everyone out just to get the hamburger for himself. Up until it's just Shake and Frylock. The last few minutes of this episode are the best, and to be honest, it's the main reason I rank it so high. I think Meatwad is my favorite character, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyway, this was a great episode.
But that ain't happening on our watch, right, man? Give me 5.
Get your fucking hand out of my face.
Now personally, I think season 10 is pretty weak. Besides me loving the intro for this season, there's not too many episodes here I like, except for the first episode of the season, Muscles. John DiMaggio is easily the best part of this episode, hands down. Carl offers Shake some energy drinks to help him get fit. It does work, but the drink causes Shake's muscles to grow a mind of his own. This is such a great episode, dude. Shake growing muscles and becoming more of an asshole is hilarious.
Said stop running on his treadmill. Damn.
Yet again, we have another great episode here. Every character here made me laugh a lot. This is such a great time.
Carl, get your fat ass out here with my muscle juice.
Next up, I have Monster. Meatwad is scared because he believes there's a monster in his room. So Frolic goes through the rest of the episode trying to prove that the monster Meatwad is scared of isn't real. I like how Frolic just tricks Carl into dressing up as a monster. This episode is hilarious. And the twist at the end where Meatwad's pet Gerbil was the monster was silly but clever. Great episode overall.
Go check the sound.
Nothing.
Go check it again.
Okay, there's still nothing there.
Check it again.
I'm not gonna check it again. There ain't nothing there.
What the fuck? I got 2 number 7 spots. Meat Zone is where Meatwad out of nowhere can see the future. Frolic doesn't believe any of it, so he goes through the episode trying to prove that Meatwad can't see the future. Shake attempts to exploit Meatwad by talking to Carl, leading to Shake telling Carl that he has oil. But of course, that doesn't work out.
Why they call it crude, Carl?
No, it's not. We hit my septic tank, you jackass.
Overall, this episode is funny as hell to rewatch. Did I tell you that Meatwad is my favorite character yet? We're in my top 5 now, and coming at number 5 is Gee Whiz. This has to be one of the goofiest episodes of Aqua Teen I've ever seen. Trust me when I say that I mean that in the best possible way. In this episode, everyone is claiming to see the face of Jesus on the billboard. However, due to standards and practices, they call him Gee Whiz. Meatwad gets pregnant out of nowhere, and is later revealed that a spider laid eggs in him, and then the episode ends with Ted Nugent appearing. This episode is so random, and I wouldn't have it any other way. This episode makes me laugh a lot every time I rewatch it. The jokes hit hard, and the Ted Nugent reveal is just perfect. Easily top 5 material.
Hey, how you guys doing? Anybody without a gun and a knife and a handkerchief and a chapstick, get the out of here.
That is friggin' Ted Nugent! Oh, you shot my arm!
Oh, man, sorry about that. I thought it was a varmint.
At my number 4 spot, I have Multiple Meat. Shake gets bored and decides to slice Meatwad in half. Every time Shake cuts up Meatwad, Meatwad multiplies into other Meatwads. Meatwad is the only character I know who can never annoy me, because everything he says in this episode is gold. I would say Meatwad is my comfort character, but I don't know how Twitter would react to that, bro. Overall, a great episode. Next is the season 11 premiere, Math Quest. Despite having a questionable actor in this episode, I truly enjoy this one. Stop motion is the last thing I expect to work for Aqua Teen, but they pulled it off here. This episode is where Meatwad loses his mouth. So Frolic, Shake, and this hot dog dude, I forgot bro's name, I'm not gonna lie to you, go on a quest to get Meatwad's mouth back. This episode is perfect. The stop motion work looks great, and the live action segments are funny. This was a great episode, even though you know who is in this one. Coming in my number 2 spot is Super Bowl. After Meatwad wins tickets, oh my god, what the fuck? After Meatwad wins tickets to the Super Bowl, Carl and Shake go out of the way to be nice to Meatwad. Despite having a fundamental plot, the writing for this episode is amazing, dude. All the ways Shake and Carl try to get that second ticket is hilarious.
Get your meat ass out here and have some fun with me.
Shake eventually gets fed up to the point he decides to eat a bunch of chips to win the tickets for himself. He of course doesn't find them and gets diabetes for his trouble. I also love the ending where Meatwad chooses neither Carl or Shake, but his friend Broxy Brown. And Meatwad doesn't even go to the Super Bowl, he goes to a farm instead. This is such a fun episode. Coincidentally, my number 1 pick is also from season 2. I think it's safe to say that season 2 is my favorite season.
Check it out, y'all. Check it out. Check it out, y'all.
My number 1 pick is Total Recall. Frolic builds a toilet on Carl's yard because he has to test it on a human. Carl uses the toilet and ends up killing himself. So Frolic goes through the entire episode trying to bring back Carl, using a black dude, eyeballs, and eventually a toy truck. I think this episode is my favorite because the writing on the I think the writing I think this episode is my favorite because the writing is on point. The jokes hit, and Carl's frustration makes me laugh.
Which button sort of turns me to the lawyer and makes me sue the hell out of you?
All right, easy, Carl, now. Don't make me have to shut the power off.
Don't do that.
I don't know if this is anyone else's favorite episode, but I had such a great time with this one. And with that being said, that was my short ass list. Aqua Teen is such a fun time. Despite not every episode being a banger, I love putting the show on every once in a while to get a quick laugh. I'm also happy this show finally came back for a new season. I think season 12 is mid, but we're not talking about that. Overall, I'm happy I did this video, because to be honest, I didn't feel like making a long ass video yet.